Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live. Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, beloved.
And Happy New Year to everyone joining us. As you know, this is a new year, 2023, and we want to thank you for joining us for another year. But before we get into the show for tonight, we just want to send out our prayers to Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. And we want to send prayers to him and his family, what happened on the field a week ago or so. But we're praying for him. God is real, and he kept him for a reason. So we'll see what happens after this. So we hope you continue, to get better and, get back out there playing. So this is a new year, and we want to change our mindset. We do not want to come in this year acting the same way we did last year. So our special guest tonight, Miss Carol Nelson, is going to come on and tell us how we reinvent our mind for the new year. So we're going to ask Dr. Vanessa to introduce our guest for tonight.
Absolutely. Our special guest tonight is Miss Carol Nelson. She earned her bachelor's degree from Syracuse University and master's of science degree from Teachers College at Columbia University. She studied access energy for transformation with its founder, Gary Douglas, for over 6 years to learn how to release layers of negative thoughts and emotions and help others to do the same. She has been a speech and language pathologist for 35 years and a clairsentient energy healer for 25 years. Her mission is to help entrepreneurs and other people ready to reinvent themselves, make massive changes to their attitude, outlook, and expectations by letting go of decades of mind self-sabotages like overwhelm, regret, and guilt. She spent most of her childhood and early adulthood with undiagnosed depression. And when therapy did not work for her, she discovered these specific mind mastery techniques through trial and error that changed her life forever. So let's welcome our special guest tonight, Miss Carol Nelson.
Well, hello there, Miss Carol.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Everybody looks so
Carol.
pretty tonight. Thank you for having me on the show.
Look, we're all
Absolutely.
I'll
ready.
have to get my lipstick next time, ladies.
Well, we'll wait for you to be kissed to get them. Okay. All right. So what we're excited about learning tonight is how can we reinvent our mind through energy and by changing our mindset, because we all sometimes have different thoughts. Sometimes we have positive thoughts, negative thoughts, and we want to change. At least I want to change. Every year I try to do better. I want to be a better person or whatever. But I mean, I have to admit, I do have negative thoughts sometimes, because sometimes you just want to kill people or whatever because you're sick of their negativism and stuff. But we want to change that. I want to change that. I want to change my way of thinking. So we're glad to have you here tonight to help us out with that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, but this is not about having positive thoughts all the time, because as humans, that's not the easiest thing to do. But the first thing that you got to do is be aware that how you're thinking. If you're not aware of your thoughts, then you're not going to be able to change. The second thing is you have to own your own thoughts. And you have to get out of blaming. Oh, you make me think that, or you make me feel that way. We got to get out of that and drive our own cars and own our own stuff as adults. Yes, things may have happened in childhood, but when we are adults, we are empowered, and we have to know we're empowered to choose the thoughts that we want to have, because life is really like a buffet. And if we see life as a buffet, that can kind of help us. So first you have to want what you want. Hi, Haley, my next door neighbor, when I was living in Brooklyn.
Okay, Carol.
You know what? He just came out of the hospital, so God bless him. I'm so happy that he's able to
We're
watch us.
praying for him as well.
Thank you. So in addition to wanting to change, some of the easiest things to do is to first care about how you feel. If you don't care how you feel, then none of what I say is going to matter to you. You have to care about yourself,
That's true.
be kinder to yourself,
Yeah.
and care about yourself.
Give yourself
I mean,
grace.
yeah,
Absolutely.
if just that alone, you would just watch how your day would show up. You might linger in the shower a little bit more, stay in that bathtub a little bit more, maybe put a little salt in that tub. You'll take time when you're eating. Be kind to yourself, really pamper yourself, and you'd be surprised how that will change how you think about yourself, other people, and the whole world.
But
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes I notice with some people, they it's hard. Sometimes it's hard for them to feel good about themselves, or to see that they are worthy,
Right.
of themselves, and stop beating themselves down, and
Mm-hmm.
really think about loving yourself. And that's really hard for some people.
Yeah.
But you know
That
what?
is
In addition to that, people need to focus on self-care. Self-care could be a lot of things. Do something that you like to do. It could be 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes on the side, just resting, watching TV, relaxing. Just take
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes of yourself
yeah,
a day.
yeah.
What I started doing is just like penciling myself on the calendar, making an appointment with myself. Just like you make an appointment with your doctor's
Yeah.
appointment, you
That's
have
great.
wherever you gotta go. I create appointments for myself. So that's what I'm getting into the routine of doing in order to kind of tailor my self-care for myself.
I love that.
Well,
I
I'm
think
glad
it's
you
a
said that, Vanessa. I'm really glad you said that, because no, really, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I do now. Like between one, say, and 2:30, I look at my
okay.
soap operas. Don't call me in between my soap operas, because I figure that's
Noted.
my time for myself, and I'm going to sit in front of the TV and sip whatever and eat some chicken wings or devil eggs or something. Don't bother me.
Don't
Don't
bother
bother.
you. Got you.
Yes, that's your time. So you're
Let me put it
absolutely
in my
right.
calendar.
Absolutely right.
Exactly.
There
You're
you go.
absolutely right. You have to do something for
But
yourself.
but that's how you do it. And yes, many of us have had traumatic experiences in life, but they don't make you. You make you. You are the driver. You can decide to tell a new story about yourself.
Hmm.
I, ooh, tell a new story about yourself if you don't like to hear that. Do you know at least 60% of what we're thinking today came from yesterday? Excuse me.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the day before that, we keep regurgitating the same stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other thing is what's happening right now, our now reality. Don't pay much attention to it if we don't like it, because those seeds were planted months, years, days before.
Hmm.
What seeds are you planting now? That's where your power is. Where do you want
Yep.
to go from here? Just like a GPS. A GPS doesn't go back. If you get lost, what does it do? Where are you now and where do you want
Now.
to go? It
Exactly.
doesn't go, let's go all the way back
Way
and
back.
see if we can do the whole thing over again.
It
No,
meets you
Yeah,
where
just
you
get
you
it
are.
all out of the
you
way.
be your
That's all.
own GPS. Where are you now and where do you want to go? Tell a new story, because what's
Mm-hmm.
coming out of your mouth is a script and you are the star of the movie. What
Mhm.
script are you telling about yourself? I'm
Mm-hmm.
ugly,
But
I'm stupid, I'm
it's
dumb,
glad
I'm
that yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And
Mhm.
even if you don't say it out loud, we can tell what you're thinking. How? Two ways: how you feel and how your life is showing up.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm. And the sad thing about that is that a lot of people let their past define their today and become
Yes.
their destiny for tomorrow. And that's a
Yes.
Yeah.
big problem. And they don't understand, that life is short, right? We
Right.
born, we live, and we die. So we don't take the
Right.
net that we have and put them in
Mm-hmm.
a jar and say, okay, we need to throw away and get rid of the negativity. Stop being
That's
around
right.
negative energy. Stop being around negative people. You got to move on. A lot of people that you've been around for many years have not moved on. They still worrying about
Hmm.
yesterday. They're not accountable for what's going on today. So once you
Right.
continue to keep being stagnant in the environment that you're in, you're never going to move to the next step.
Yes,
And
and
when
we
you're
are
around
trained.
negative people like that, like you said, being around negative people like that. But then sometimes when I look at some people that's around negative stuff like that, you tell them I think sometimes they enjoy just being around negative people all the time. So they'll have something to say all the time
But it's
that's
their
not
comfort zone.
positive. When you
That's their
try to
comfort
tell
zone.
them, why
It's
do
their
you
comfort
keep
zone.
messing with that same person that's doing nothing for you?
But it also takes them
Absolutely.
away from having to deal with what's going on or not going on in their
The
actual
reality.
life.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you
The
go.
Okay.
reality.
Right. Sometimes we use negative people to distract us from what we don't want to deal with. It's like almost like a
Absolutely.
clutter person with a clutter
Yes.
problem. They just have stuff there so that they don't have to deal with their own stuff. But a part of the human experience is that some of us are, not some of us, we have been programmed to be addicted to drama or negativity on some level. Ooh,
Right.
did you see
Drama,
that?
yes.
And when you're telling stories, are they usually good stories? About, oh, you had a car crash. Oh, did you? My car crash was. Somebody stole your purse.
Yeah.
Somebody stole my car. It just gets bigger.
Yeah.
People
So,
love drama.
but
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's what we're doing all the time, then it becomes a problem because it's almost like tuning ourselves to the negative channel. So
Mhm.
that is just how we live. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. When you want to live that life, you're going to die by that life. There's nothing wrong with being that way sometimes, but if you're doing that all the time, that there's a problem. And sometimes what other people do, that they are on autopilot, so they're not even aware of how they're thinking. They're just following. Maybe life
The
is too
program.
hard to even think about it and to even think
Do
about
you do
change.
you
Yeah.
really feel? Do you really believe that people don't know what they're doing?
Well, I
Even when they
think that it's
on
almost that
autopilot, you don't
it's
think
like
they know what
stuff
they're doing?
putting it
They
under
just
the rug. They might
they
want to put
just
it under the rug
complacent.
and not think about it. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but I
But I
know
They
you
also
said it. No, you say they become complacent. But what I'm saying, at some point, you you can't be in the same spot every day.
yes you can.
sure they can. Sure they can.
Yes
It's
you
their
can.
comfort zone.
No, I don't think you can be in the spot
Yes
every
you
day.
can.
Sure, it doesn't work. It may not work for you, Lottie, but people are
Right.
in a comfort zone. Just like Carol said, you got clutter on the side, you're not dealing with the clutter. So you're gonna act like it's not there. You're gonna
Right.
procrastinate. You're gonna find excuses not to deal with it. So the thing is like this is their comfort. They're comfortable. It just
Okay, then. Well, if you believe that, we'll finish discussing when we come back. But I sure don't believe that. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Hi, we're back and we're talking with our special guest, Miss Carol Nelson. We are talking about reinventing our mind through new energy. Before we went to break, y'all was talking about people that just stays in the same comfort zone all the time. But I just feel at some point you have to come out of that comfort zone. I just can't believe for 365 days you doing the exact same thing.
Listen, there has to be a catalyst in order for some people. At a place that I work, you would have people who would work at a place since they were young till they retire. And then you find out maybe like a week into retirement that they died. Their entire life had been lived doing this job.
Good job.
And they didn't know what to do after they retired. It just
They don't plan for it. They don't.
Right.
They can't live without it.
We can't live without it. So it is.
No, but I understand you talking about people working. Because
Right.
most of us start on a job sometime when we were young. You know what I'm saying? And we
Mhm.
stay there until we retire. I mean, I
Mhm.
did that. I
Not
started
most people.
a job young.
Not
Not
and
now.
I
most people.
retired.
Not now.
But
No.
during that period of time, you are changing over that period of time. and we all have some kind of talent. God gave everybody a talent. So when you leave your regular job, there's
Mm-hmm.
always something for you to do.
But
So
not
I
everybody
still have
taps
a
into
hard
that
time
talent,
They
finding
Mama.
don't,
other
they,
people
they
to say
don't,
they
they
don't know
don't,
what they're gonna
they
do.
don't untap that space that
No,
they do.
not everybody
It's
does
more
that.
right. It's more. It occurs more often than you see it. Look for instance, right? How many people? Let's say, for instance, police officer, law enforcement. They'll leave a job here and there. That's all they knew: eat, sleep, and that job. So when they come
Right,
out, they'll prepare for retirement, and that's one of the downfalls that they need to prepare people for retirement. There's a lot
right,
of negative things that go on. They got a lot of time to think negativity, and then you got a suicide problem. You got a depression problem. You got a loneliness problem. And
yeah.
you have like a social problem issues. So it's a lot of things that need to be embodied prior to retiring.
But you have to
Absolutely.
also too, when you're working a job, there are physical things that change within you. You start a job at 18, you don't look the same way you did. You're not able to do the same things when you're 60 or 65 or 70 or whenever you decide to retire. There are
Absolutely.
physical things that you go through, the catalyst that, make those kind of changes really noticeable. So for some people, they can go day in and day out. If there's nothing to initiate, nothing to like say, hey, this is changing, there's something different, you can go Monday through Friday and I realize that there's something different.
Mhm.
how
Well,
how many times have we looked up and said, oh my God, we're halfway through the month already,
yes,
Time is
the
I would
moving.
year's
guess
almost done.
one of our watchers wanted to know, how do we get out of the comfort zone? How do you get out of your comfort zone?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, first of all, you have to realize that you are worthy of change. And
Mhm.
you have to realize if you're not feeling well, that there's something that's unsupportive that you're believing. And just understand that beliefs are just thoughts that you keep practicing. If you keep
Mhm.
practicing, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, this is horrible, I have a horrible life, I will never be able to, that you're practicing a thought pattern that is not helpful to you. So just realize just how you're practicing that. And even though it may be the easiest thought to think because you've been thinking it a long time, that's all it is. It's a lie that you have believed. So you are going to have to start to believe new things about yourself, i.e., start to believe the truth about yourself. Life is like a buffet. When you go to a buffet or when you go to a restaurant, you go in there for what you want. Yes? You don't go in there for what you don't want or bad treatment, right? You
Right.
go in, you look at the foods that you want, and you go, "Ooh, that's the I'm going to have some of that." You put it on your plate and eat it. I'm going to have. You don't stand over the foods that you hate and go, "Why is this here? I can't stand it. They need to remove this." No, you go straight to the foods you want because you can't wait to enjoy it and sit down. So change your focus and change your life. Please change your focus and change your life, because as you begin to think about what you want, write in a journal about what you want, imagine what you want, see yourself wanting what you want. And even if it's something that's going to take some time, that's okay. Start with some small things. Write down your 10 favorite things that you like to do on a piece of paper, and every day, even if it's for 5 minutes, do that thing. One of the things I do is every morning when I wake up, I give my top 10 things that I'm so happy about. It could be, oh, it's nice and quiet this morning. Oh, I love how good this bed feels. Oh, my pillow is so soft. Oh, I'm going to have a great breakfast this morning. Oh, I'm alive. God loves me. Whatever you want to say, I give my top 10 before I step out of bed. It puts me in a mood of appreciation. And what does appreciation do? It snowballs into more things. I'm changing my focus from as soon as I get up, and I begin to shift from negativity to positivity, because I care about how I feel, and I know that these techniques work. Another thing that you can do is just take a moment with yourself and breathe, and just breathe deeply. And every time you breathe out, allow what is a lie to just leave you, and relax into the furniture, whether it's a chair or the bed, sofa, and just allow it, just like rain, to drip down into the furniture, the floor, and into the earth, and just let it go deep down into the earth. Or if you feel like you've got a lot of heady stuff in the front of you, a lot of stress in front of you, things in front of you that you don't want to deal with, let them go. You can have an imaginary box to the right of you and just put things that you don't want to forget about them, and just let the angels have it for a moment as you let go. As you breathe out, take time with yourself to breathe out and breathe in, and allow the stress of the day, the busyness of the day, the overwhelm of the day, the lies you've been believing about yourself to feel to fill helium balloons, too many to count, and let them just float away, far away from you on the other side of the mountain that you don't even know is over there. And just be with yourself. There is a superhuman inside of you that loves you so much. Reconnect with that superhuman part of you that has not lost the dream that you were born with. You were born dreaming big dreams. Continue to dream big. And don't put off being happy for I'll be happy when this happens, when I meet the person of my dreams, or when I get my car, when I get stuff. You can, yes, you can be happy then. But I have to tell you, when you have a goal, you're not going to be happy forever with that goal. You're going to start wanting something else. So you're going to be putting off your happiness again? No. Choose to be happy now. You're in charge of your own happiness. Nobody is making you happy or unhappy. You're in charge of your happiness. If there's something that you can do to make you happy, make sure you do it every day and take time with yourself. The way you treat yourself is the way that other people will be treating you. You be the example of how other people will treat you. Be kind to yourself, take time with yourself. If you are on a budget, just slow down and linger.
Well,
That's absolutely right.
that's
Yes,
why
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
suggest
Yes,
yoga, because it
yes.
Yes,
is really good for the brain and the
Mhm.
mind. That's one
Yeah,
thing.
yes,
we get
Mm-hmm.
better
absolutely.
Going
thinking.
back,
Yep.
going back to the
Absolutely.
buffet, when we were talking
Yes.
about your comfort,
Mhm.
going back to the buffet. Now, see me when I go to the buffet, I may see something that I like and I'll eat it, but I
Mhm.
also eat something that I don't particularly like.
Try new
And the reason
things.
I do it is because
Mhm.
I like to try new things.
Yep.
I like
Right.
to try because if I don't try, how would I know I like it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
So I
mhm.
just feel that we need to try new things
New
and not be
things.
afraid to try new things. Just because it might look bad, that don't mean it's not good. And everything that looks good is not good for you. Just
Absolutely.
because it
But
Right,
looks good.
right,
Absolutely.
right.
And
I
that's
agree
even
with what you
and
said.
that's even
Mhm.
looking at the two leggeds, just because they look good, that don't mean they're good for you. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. But you know what? I agree with you say, Carol. You got the right division to make it plain. But we got a question in the chat. How to help a relative realize they are surrounded by negative people and turn their life around. Do new things, meet positive people, and change their mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
you
well, now
can't
when
make
we're
them.
talking about somebody else, you know, you are as they are just as empowered as you are, and they may be taking a different road than you are. The best thing that you could do is be happy yourself and let them come to you. Oh, why are you so happy? How are you so happy?
Right.
Just you be happy sometimes is enough for the other person to want to
But
change because
sometimes you
Yeah.
can be happy. You can
Mhm.
be happy yourself because you might be a happy-go-lucky person anyway. So most people see that you are really, really happy. I don't
Right.
think it's anything wrong with you trying to talk to that person and convince them that you need to remove yourself from the negative people.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't tell them, then they're not going to make a move to do anything. Eventually, I think it'll sink in. Because you know how sometimes when people
Mhm.
telling you something, you don't want to hear what they have to say. But it
Right.
doesn't mean that you're not listening to
Right.
Right.
what they're telling you.
But
It means
Mhm.
that you don't respond when they
right.
tell
Fair
you.
But
enough.
you know
Fair
what?
enough.
And then
A lot
later
of people,
on, you will do
yeah.
it.
I,
But you know what?
you
A
know
lot
what?
of people are in denial. A lot of people see things
Yeah.
that's going on. They're in denial. They're
It's
fighting.
not just a river in Egypt.
Yeah,
Yes.
and sometimes you want the best for others, and we don't see ourselves how other people see us.
Right.
So people just stay in denial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
Right.
I know
and
because
you can say it, but you can't always change somebody. So don't go
Right.
in with the
no, we don't want to change
expectation.
anybody.
Yeah.
Don't go in with the expectation. I've told you that now you've got to do what I've said. Yeah, yeah, some friends and some
Yeah.
family members will say something, and something did happen a couple of years ago where I did have to protect my mother and go against her wishes and say something to somebody. And I did it
Discuss.
because I care about her, and she wasn't
Right.
willing to be. be what
Right.
she needed to be. So I do understand that. But for the most part, I do my best to keep my mouth shut.
Drink your water and mind your business.
But no,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
different,
true.
different,
No,
different
that's
strokes
true.
with different.
Normally, that's what you do is mind your business. But there are occasions, sometimes
You have to
you do
intervene.
need to say something
Yeah,
to that
that
person.
is
Now,
true.
whether
Right.
they
I
want to listen to you or
definitely
not,
say
Yes,
something.
that's up to them whether they want to listen
Yeah.
to you or not.
Right.
Because
I
you
would
know what
agree.
happens
Maybe one time.
sometimes when you don't say something to the person, and then when something happens, they'll turn around and say to you, "Well, if that's
Why
what
didn't
you
you
were
tell me?
thinking, and that's what you know, why
Why
didn't you
didn't you
tell
tell
me that
me?
then?"
Because you
You know what I'm
hard-headed.
saying?
Because you don't listen.
Exactly.
That's it,
You
Allison.
deaf.
No, but
That's why I
I'm
ain't
just
tell you.
saying, you
No,
tell
it's
them.
true.
You
It's
tell them.
true.
That's up to them where they want to listen to what you have to say
It's
or
true.
not.
Right.
Because you're
Right,
not telling
right.
them in no
At
nasty
least
way.
one
You're telling
time,
them out of
say it
concern.
with love,
Right.
because things are heard easier if you say it with love. And if you say they're
Right.
probably going to give you back. But if you say, look, from the bottom of my heart,
I
it
love
hurts
you,
me to see. Yeah, I love you, and
but you wild
you
crazy.
Yeah,
Stop
it's just
it.
like it's just like if you
Stop
tell
it.
it's just like when you have to tell one of your friends that you know that their husband or their boyfriend is kicking their behind, and you are
Right.
saying to them, "Well, why
oh,
would
I
you
have,
stay with
I got a
somebody like that
shovel
and want to treat you that way?" And then they turn around and
and a
look at you.
4-5. What
Oh,
we
well, he
doing?
loves me. You know, it's not what you
Right.
think. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that sometimes you keep telling the person, and eventually,
Yeah,
I
it
think
may sink
I
in.
think they eventually get it. You know what I'm saying?
But
Sometimes they may
sometimes
get it.
they'll cut you out
No,
because they're
But
tired
that's
of
sometimes they
hearing
okay.
it.
get.
But
But
that's
sometimes
okay.
you
They
gotta be
cut
hurt.
you
and
out.
You
she
gotta
was
get
doing
real
what
hurt.
was on her heart.
Right.
Lottie was doing what was on her heart. And
You
those
got
are
to
the
But that's
read
what I'm
that
times
saying.
advice like a
Even if they
pamphlet.
cut you out, it's okay. Because trust me, when it happens, they're gonna come back to you because they realize
Right.
you were telling them something to help them, not to hurt them or whatever.
Not to hurt
But
them.
that does
anyway, we got
happen.
to wrap up this portion of the show. Thank you so much, Karen Nelson, for coming on for this part of
My
the
pleasure.
show
My
to
pleasure.
help us get ourselves together for the new year. If you want to still stay with us for our after show, you can still stay with us for the after show on our Facebook page and YouTube page. But for this part here, we're going to have to close out. Our time is up, and we want to say
My
Happy New Year
pleasure.
to everyone.
Happy New Year.
And make sure you get yourself together for the new year. Before you leave, take time to go and like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube page. And as always, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Do you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Space Rock Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon. It's Shannon.